Hi everybody, it's Lace, and one of the new things that went live in R53 is the ability for dynamic POTs to actually show where lot placement is. And one of the things that has been around is the ability for POT owners to kind of edit their spaces and stuff. Now this is all come from the acquisition of sorry, typing, can't talk and type, oh no, the acquisition of sodamap.com, which Jacob White did an amazing job with, so much so that Portalarium acquired it. And as you see, this is basically our world map here that I'm just looking at, and I am actually at the website address, and you can't see it because I just kind of have my screen blocked out, but it is www.shroudtheavatar.com/map. And you could log in and stuff like that, and then search for POT information. As a POT owner, you're going to want to log in so that you can edit it, and I'll be right back after I've logged in. One moment, please. Okay, so I'm logged in now. Now you can't see exactly so much of my screen. I have some things blanked out near the top, and that's just basically, as a POT owner, it shows your screen name on that you use on the forums. But anyway, for anonymity's sake, I have that blocked out, and it's up there. And up there, just like we showed in the previous screen, it had login, edit on and off, and more. Basically, once you're logged in, it's going to show your name, and I don't like that. The edit on and off is the feature that you're going to use the most as a POT owner. And then there's the search box, and I'm just going to go in and do Diamond Fields, just like we did a moment ago. Diamond Fields, if I can spell it correctly, hey. Okay, so and Diamond Fields, for whatever reason, is showed as a nested POT in Jade Valley. The odd thing is that Diamond Fields originally was nested under Port Phoenix, because quote-unquote Prism is part of the Phoenix Republic, while also the Jade Dragons and Malhari's group is part of the Phoenix Republic and many other guilds. For some reason, mine shows as Jade Valley, and that's probably just an editing choice that occurred perhaps with the old Soda map. No offense, Malhari and Jade Dragons. I just would prefer to be listed under Port Phoenix. I'm not sure how to make that happen. I will research that. So for you nested POT owners, once I discover that, I will make a post about that. So anyway, we're going to go into Diamond Fields here, and you can see we're an island POT. That's why there's all this water around us. Now, prior to R53, we could add labels and stuff, but what's new in R53 is we can actually see the houses and the owners and stuff in our dynamic POTs. Now, for me as a governor, the other thing that happened with this is I could see where stuff was off kilter. Like you can see this village lot should just be a little bit more that way. And sometimes when you're placing lot markers, it's very hard to line things up if there's a gap. And I can see this one should move this way and stuff. The other thing that I'm noticing is when I add a label, it's immediately showing up in game. So if I'm in game and I've added a label here outside of game, you know, again, by going in and logging into the maps and stuff, I'm seeing the labels pop up, but I'm not seeing the dynamic housing update quite yet. I know Core has been a huge part of this, and I just absolutely have to applaud him. I'm sure there's other people, and I'm sorry if, you know, I'm not acknowledging you devs that have all made this possible, but some of the maps that I've seen come out of the hunting areas, like Elysium Mines, I think I spoke of this in another video. I could literally count how many boards it was to get across, like there was boards to jump from one place to another. I could see the number of boards that actually matched exactly what was inside that map. That was pretty damn amazing to me. So while I placed some row markers here, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. Today's Monday. I'm not seeing my row houses update. They should look kind of like this. And I should see the same thing here. And these were moved to here. a village area, a new road was added, and then a village shopping area this way. And this was all generated basically, basically because I have these folks from Kindred, one of the guilds, and this is where I say that, you don't have to be, you don't have to have your own POT as a guild. There's plenty of POTs that will custom place things for you or whatever. Now they went with my layout of the town, and they just started claiming lots that were all adjoining and stuff. And then there was some open space here, and some stuff was moved around. And they said, hey, we'd really like to have a city lot here. So what I did was, well, first of all, I'd already made them a little label that said Kindred, because they had so many lots in my POT, and I thought it was good idea to recognize them. And I really want to suggest that to other POT owners. Recognize your residents, appreciate your residents, because their occupancy helps make your POT better, because they're offering more shopping opportunities for your residents. A community really grows based on your residency. So trying to do the most you can for your residents will draw new residents, which then just makes everything better. So anyway, because the outlines aren't quite showing up, this tag needs probably shift a little bit this way. But they put in a city lot. So I gave them a Kindred Events tag for their city lot. And again, once I can see it more clearly, I can bump up the font size and stuff and give it a little bit more recognition. It's actually outside and doesn't have a house place on it. And that's the other thing to note here, is any lot where there's not a house might look like, from this view, that there's nothing there, but we can see when I go mouse over it, village lot owned by Robin Hood. Now I know she's using this as a growth thing. This is her own personal farmland. But you can't see that it's owned by somebody. That is so freaking cool. So if you go into even NPC towns or POT towns, you can now see who owns what and things like that. Now, I think there's some old, really outdated POT maps, like Owl's Head's one that comes to mind, where if they had paid Jacob White some money, that they could say, like, let's pretend this lot was something. Fierro Steel is another guy. Fierro Steel is another guy that owns a bunch of land, so I just gave him a little tag, just to be nice as a governor. This is his little freaking slice of the world. But anyway, there were some custom tags that were available in sodamap.com that could say, I sell swords and armor. We don't have that capability right now in Sodamap. I suspect that I could add, like, let's say you owned a village lot, I could probably put a little tag over it that said something, but because the house, I'm just zooming in here, because the house is there and the outline of the house, it might be a little bit hard to read. I'm not opposed to doing that, that if you say this is an armor shop or this is that or the other, I could put the tags in, but I think it's going to be a little too busy. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the main thing I like about the tags is, and this is something on my to-do list, and I suggest other governors do it as well, we have a main zone in. And as some players may or may not know, there's typically like a little road sign. When you click the road sign, you can zone to another section of the map. One of the things I want to do is put point A is here, and point A connects to here, and clearly label this as point A, so that I know if I'm zoning in and I want to get over here, I want to know what sign I hit to get here. So that's something that's on my to-do list, and I strongly suggest that other governors put in a little legend or something that links, that shows the dock linkage and stuff. And again, for our POT, we have this area for the fishing platforms or for our fishing derbies that we've held in the past and will in the future. We have the poker house for the World Series of Poker, which we've held the, I guess, the benchmark or QA testing, quote unquote, of hosting something like this, and this is where it will occur. I have some folks, some residents, kind of like Kindred up there, that's it's two brothers and they have a whole bunch of lots here. So I've given them a little love by labeling them. And again, as a good governor, I think you should do that. Your people that have, 2-3 housing plots, give them a little love. And then if you have venues that you're reusing, like your big giant guilds, like, I don't know, BMC, folks in or Dennis Mortis, evil and stuff like that. Labeling your POTs where your name venues, like for evil, one comes to mind is the one that's dedicated to Lacey. One of the people that was into my New Britannia Breast Cancer Awareness Biathlon, who succumbed to breast cancer, and they've actually have a spot and a memorial built for her. Being able to put that label inside their POT, I really think it gives more meaning, that you're not just some POT and here's some houses and you can live here and stuff. Being able to label all the points of interest and things like that, I think is great. And you can put points of interest, like if I hit this button, I have my edit off, so hold on one second. I'm going to turn my edit on, and I'm going to hit point of interest, and there's some symbols. They're not real happy, but I'm going to go over to, I know the community farmlands over here, so I can put this little dot for community farmland, right? And I can zone into this, and I can click on it, and here I can say community farmland. Now I put a label, a big label on it, but I can even link it to the wiki, and that's something I will be doing with our POIs for our particular town. But there's a little flower, and I could put a label on it, and description and stuff. It's right here, technically, rather than right where that is. But these are things that your governor should be doing. And if your governor's not doing it, tell them, hey, go check out this video. Look what you can do. Make our POT cool. Label things. One of the other things that I've done is, in my POT, we have a lot of, it is a metropolis, so we have quite a bit of land that's unused, but I've placed all the water markers pre-placed. I've pre-placed some things that are, nice views of the shore, because people like the views. People like marketplaces, but people also like views. Like this person over here is living over here on their own island. They own an island, basically, because there's no other markers placed. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to live over there, well, I'll try to place, a property marker for them, and they can claim it. Some of these islands you probably can't live on. One of the bugs that I found is there's tons of waterfront property available here, plus the center mass. I've got the edit on. Let me turn this off real quick. Plus the center mass, and so there's tons of claimable land here. And again, if I just go out, I think the boat is right here. If I take a boat from here, boom. So I zone in, take a boat, boom, I'm here. So I can live here, it's nothing. And if I want to go back, and most of our vendors for crafting and everything's right around here, I can go, I can take the little boat, I think it's like about right there. Boom, I'm here. Boom, I get it. Boom, boom, boom. And it's it's not a teleport like a scene loading. It's the quick teleport from here to here, from point A to point B. So, again, get your governors to start labeling things. If you're having an event, they can throw down a label and say, the price is right. I haven't set a date, but it's going to be possibly end of May, early June. Price is right in the date. If you're having an event and it's at your little house, get them to put up a label, because then when people zone into the area, instead of doing \Z, say head north, head north, head north, it's the large city block on the left, or something like that, they can look at their map and navigate on their own. I think this would be super useful for folks doing release parties, Church of the Dark Star, all these recurring events that are things like that. Try to do what I'm doing, because these labels show up pretty much immediately. Again, the housing placement, I'm not seeing that refresh like it should. But these labels do show up immediately. So if you're having an event, get your governor to mark it for you like this. One other thing to note for those of you guys looking for a place to live in POTs, one of the complaints that I've seen on the forums, at least in the past, is that lots are marked as reserved. They zone in, they talk to, let's say, like our town criers, usually at a zone in of a POT. They look at town crier. They double click them. It says reserved, reserved, reserved. I don't think reserved shows up as a delineation on this. It shows free village lot, free village lot. And again, this is not updating quite like it should, because like I know that there's row houses here. I know this one's claimed, and it should show up as somebody claimed it. But anyway, one of the complaints has been is that it's all reserved. Well, that's all up to your governor. And the governors of some POTs want to get to know who's going to live there. Some may have decoration restrictions. Some may have, other caveats that only people of certain guilds can live there. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's up to them. They paid probably huge bucks for their POT, and they can make those choices, just like they can make the choice to evict. That's all based, everybody governs differently and stuff. I will say, however, and yeah, maybe this is a little marketing for Diamond Fields, I've pretty much designed things to where I should never have to evict anybody ever. One, because I did poor town planning, or two, because I think you did something that's just god awful. We're not like that. We're very organic, but with a city plan. So freeform placement is probably going to go out around from the main center. If you say, oh, I really want to live here, and there's already villages here, and I want to live this way instead of on the main road, I'm probably going to tell you no, because that is part of the city plan. However, if you want something out here, sure, I'll custom place a lot for you. But again, every governor's going to differ. Every POT governor's rules are going to differ. And that's why when you claim a piece of land inside a POT, it says you could be evicted. Well, we don't evict in Diamond Fields, and probably 90% or more of your governors are not going to do it either. But it is something to be aware of. I probably won't ever ask you to move because of my poor city planning. But some governors may go, oh man, if I could get you to move just a little, unclaim a lot. Now, here's the cool thing is, once you've decorated a lot, let's pretend this was your lot here that says free village lot, and you decorated it and you had your house and stuff. And I talked about off kilter. Actually, let's pick this one. And I can see it's off kilter. Now it's free right now, and I've fixed it already. It's just not showing up. But let's pretend you'd claim this one, and I see it's off kilter. Now what you can do is, when you're inside your own lot, there's a little marker stone typically in the front of your space, and you can go in there, and you should have at least one magic mover slot for your house and one for your basement. You can store your decorations to that, and I'll probably do a video on that just to go through that process. But you can store that, then you can unclaim it. I can shift it to make it, not be off kilter, because, OCD a little bit on the governorship. And then you can reclaim it, boom, 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 put your decorations back, and you don't have to redo it. If you do a magic mover with inside the same POT, maybe you were here, and now all of a sudden, for some reason, you want to live over here or something, it is free. It's not going to cost you kodos. But if you move from one POT to another, or an NPC town to another, there is a cost associated with the magic mover, and that cost is based on the size of the lot. So moving a city lot from one POT to another, oh my goodness, you're going to pay out the booty for that. You may want to just redeco, depending on your wallet and your budget. But if you're moving within the same POT, and maybe you didn't want to live here anymore and you wanted to live out on an island up here, you can do that for free as many times as you want, as long as you can claim the deeds and stuff and the lots. So keep that in mind as options. Whether you want to relocate or anything, it's probably a good idea for POT governors to perhaps publish a book on these things, and publish a book on what their rules are. I recently just did one for Diamond Fields, and I just kind of put it in a chest out in the middle of nowhere where everybody could see it. And inside the chest I put Diamond Fields brochure R53, and talked about some of the amenities in this particular POT, and that was the Common Grow Land, a co-op vendor that's around here, the public golf course, Gusball Field, just, things that we have going on that are unique to our POT. And I think it's like, if you go up the road, it's like somewhere around here, I have a public casualties. I also put in there flyers for my particular armor shops and venues and stuff. I also have a bulletin board here where anybody in the community can give me their bulletin board flyer and I will post them. Now, when things become out of date, I rotate them, because that's one of the probably the biggest gripes that I hear from residents is the POTs aren't updated. And one of the biggest compliments I get on my POT is I kind of change out the deco around the crafting pavilion. I've been a little lax lately because I've been focusing on other things, but I tend to theme it. At Halloween it was decorated kind of spooky. Christmas, it was decorated for Christmas. And again, I'm limited to the decorations that we actually have in game, but just giving, changing things up. Like this common land here, I have enough space in here to throw a village lot down for pop-up events and things like that. So this again goes into, for you new POT owners, because I know there's sales of POTs going around back and forth, this is just another idea for you guys to keep in mind when you're trying to lay out your POT and things like that, is be mindful of these things. And if you already own a POT, well, these are just some things to help make your POT better. So while this video has mostly just been highlighting how I've been doing things, I'm sure there are plenty of governors that have other ideas, and hopefully when I start this thread on the forums under POTs and stuff like that, that they might add to it and give other suggestions that other POT governors can have. And then you as residents, you may have some suggestions on how to better mark or delineate or talk about the POT that you live in. NPC towns I don't think can be edited in this manner, but that's part of owning your own little slice of life and owning a POT. I know that there's been a lot of POT sales. I even sold one of my POTs off recently because it's a lot to manage when you're taking care of everything. And I hope that the new governor of that particular piece of land that, I don't know where it's going to be or what it's going to be called, but I hope that they can use this video as well as anybody else that's purchasing or repurchasing or, you know what I mean, getting their own POT. Town design is going to be your biggest enemy, but your biggest benefit. And then also just making it, good for your residents. Do that, man. Be a good governor. Don't say, "Oh, I own a piece of land. You must do what I say." No, don't be like that. Try to make it organic, kind of like how we've done in Diamond Fields. I've gotten plenty of compliments. People are very happy living here. And hey, I couldn't be happier if they're happy. So try to think organically rather than being strict as a governor. I think that works far better. This game's kind of touted as a sandbox or whatnot. So allow your residents to be more sandboxy. And, even if they build a skyscraper of granite rock to the sky, allow that. Don't be restrictive and saying you can't use granite block to build a house or whatever. Try to be accommodating, because the more accommodating you are, the more they're going to tell their friends, hey, this is a pretty cool place to live, and therefore the more successful your POT will be. Again, I didn't mean this to be like all about marketing your POT or anything. I really wanted it so that players understood what governors could do, so that they could maybe get their governors to do this. But it's just a lot of tools that I found that I really, really love. Hopefully they'll get the dynamic placement so that, things update a little faster. I'm not quite sure what the catch or the trigger is to update this. It looks like it's either broken or it's on a long loop that I'm not aware of, to where, when I do lot placement, it's not automatically updating. But hey, I'm sure that'll get worked out. This is the first iteration of it, and I think it's freaking fantastic. I love it. It's just fantastic being able to see what's going on in your POT. Um, probably the only little other side complaint is people that have things with no house. It looks like it's empty when it's not. I don't know. Maybe there could be some kind of standardized marker that shows claimed, regardless of the deco. So like here we got village, village, and this. And I know there's like a giant moon dial. It's a gorgeous garden. I think like the city lot that Kendra's put in. There's no house there, but it's gorgeous. Uh, Greenhouses that people have, like the community farmland. Both of these were greenhouses. Maybe just some indication that it's claimed visually rather than having to mouse over and go, oh, somebody owns it. Oh, somebody owns it. And this would be useful in POTs as well as NPC towns and stuff. Is showing some claim of ownership other than the mouse over, some visual thing. And maybe I'll tag Core in this, although he probably won't want to watch 20 minutes of a video to get to that. But I think it's just fantastic, the tools we now have at our fingertips. I hope you found this useful as a governor, as a resident, and as a new player to see some of the things that are just possible with the game. Take care, everybody. Happy hunting and be safe.